delay, nearly 3 hour rain delay, we are live for today's NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Toyota 200 at the Worldwide Technology Raceway in St. Halloween. Again, a massive, nearly 3 hour rain delay, another delay on a NASCAR race weekend, but nonetheless, we are about to get things kick-started. Now, this has foiled our triple header plans today. We did get our practice and qualifying for the NASCAR Cup Series stream in a timely fashion earlier this morning. A much longer wait before the start of this truck race. Now, we will go live for the entirety of this Truck Series race from start to finish. Unfortunately, with the NASCAR Xfinity Series racing at Portland, their race is set to begin in about a half hour from now. So as soon as this stream comes to an end, as soon as this race comes to an end, I will be streaming the finish of the NASCAR Xfinity Series race on another stream. So that stream is already set up and set to go, hopefully around 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The Truck Series races tend to be slightly shorter than the Xfinity Series races, and with this race starting a half hour sooner, I do think it will get over before the Xfinity race is over. Now, with that being said, there aren't going to be many laps left of the Xfinity race. I would imagine they'll probably be in the final stage when we get over there, but I will at least be streaming the finish of that race, and I'll try to keep you updated as much as I can as to what is going on in that one. The reason I am choosing the Truck Series race over the Xfinity Series race, there's two main reasons. One, this race is starting slightly before the other one, so I do think that this race will finish at least before the finish of the Xfinity race. Rather, if I were to just wait and do the Xfinity Series race, we would miss all of the truck race. So there's a slight bit more of a chance that I can get at least part of the Xfinity Series race commentated, where if I did solely the Xfinity race, which is supposed to start, our stream was supposed to start another 12 minutes from now, I wouldn't be able to get them both in. So that's the hope, is that this race goes by without many cautions and we get done and hopefully get maybe a half hour of the other stream in later on today. But yeah, second week in a row we've had to do this, unfortunately, where we have two races overlapping with one another. I didn't have this problem at all last season doing the Truck Xfinity Cup Series races. And then obviously the season before that, I only did the Cup Series race every race of the schedule, so I never really had to run into an issue with that. But yeah, this is the second weekend in a row, and we hadn't had this in the channel's history, that we've had two races overlapping with one another, so it's kind of a weird situation. The other reason, though, that I am doing this race is on Fox Sports 2. I know a lot of people and a lot of you guys, the fans of the channel, probably don't have Fox Sports 2 at your availability, so this might be the only way to know what's going on with the Truck Series race as it's happening. With the other race on Fox Sports 1, more availability for you, the fans, to be able to watch that on your own. So that is another reason why I'm doing this Truck Series race as well, to try to help you guys, the fans, out a little bit more that, again, might not have Fox Sports 2. And this race was originally supposed to be on your local Fox affiliate, so obviously that is not going to be the case anymore. I think the USFL is now on Fox, as they've gone past their scheduled airtime for this event. Trucks are on the racetrack. You can see the starting lineup on screen. Thanks for that $1.99 super chat, by the way, in the chat from Jason Carney. Appreciate that so much. Thanks to you. Big thanks to you. And thanks to everybody tuning in here for this one. Again, appreciate you guys holding out on the rain delay. And hopefully, again, we can get the end of that Xfinity Series race in for you guys, as well as this entire truck race. Obviously, we'll get this entire truck race in, but hopefully we can get some of the Xfinity Series finish as well. Ty Majeski's on the pole for this one. He's going to be my pick for the Truck Series race, and my pick actually for the Xfinity race, if you want to know, as well, as Shane Van Gisbergen. So there you have it. You heard it from me before the start of both races. Majeski is my pick because he has been very good on the flat racetracks over the last calendar year. Now, the Truck Series has not had a Ford go to victory lane yet, so for Thor Sport Racing, that's really the only question mark I have for them. Christian Eckes, who starts second in this race, has finished second in each of the last two races at Gateway, but he hasn't led many laps. Ty Majeski started from the pole in last year's race right here at Gateway, and he led 55 laps. He finished second in Stage 1 and Stage 2. And had a bit more speed than Eckes, but it was Eckes who was able to survive late race restarts to hold on to a second place finish, where Ty Majeski, who was the fastest truck in the closing laps of that race, unfortunately got in a wreck on one of the late race restarts in the final 10 laps, and that resulted in a not as good finish as what he had been running for most of the day and as strong as his truck looked. So I think Majeski gets redemption, and he goes to victory lane in this race. The reason I'm taking Shane Van Gisbergen to win the Xfinity race today, it was between him and Sam Mayer in my eyes. The only reason I'm taking Shane Van Gisbergen is because of how good he is on road courses. Now, I know Sam Mayer is really good on road courses as well, and Mayer does have the upper hand in the at-track activity because he has driven an Xfinity car at Portland now 2 years in a row, where Shane Van Gisbergen has never raced at that racetrack. But I think Shane Van Gisbergen can adapt quickly. He ran very good, outrunning Sam Mayer at Coda for most of that Xfinity race earlier this season, and obviously had a shot to win on the final lap. Got into it back and forth there with Austin Hill, and ended up actually getting black flag because he had cut the one of the corners there in the Esses on the racetrack. But needless to say, he was in the running for the win there, where Sam Mayer was not in the closing lap. So I do think SVG has the ability to adapt much quicker to Sam Mayer. Mayer might be faster out of the start, is on the pole versus SVG starting second, but I think by the end of the race, SVG, even if he doesn't lead the most laps, will get the win. I expect Mayer to lead more laps than Shane Van Gisbergen, but I'm still taking SVG for the win. So taking the 98 and the 97 vehicles by way of numbers. Okay, starting lineup in this one in full now. You got Ty Majeski and Christian Eckes on the front row. I mentioned Majeski led the most laps in this race a season ago. DNF and Christian Eckes has finished runner-up at Gateway 2 years in a row in the Truck Series. Nick Sanchez and Dean Thompson will be in row 2 for this one. Nick Sanchez is your most recent winner in the Truck Series, as he had won at Charlotte last Friday night. And Tanner Gray with Stuart Friesen will line up in row number 3. Row 4 is going to be Taylor Gray and Ben Rhodes. Corey Heim and Grant Enfinger in row 5. Heim actually missed this race due to an illness last season, so less track time than a lot of the other truck regulars in the field in a truck at Gateway here today. Chase Purdy and Tyler Ankrum will line up in row 6. Row 7 will be Raja Karuth and Daniel Dye. Jake Garcia and Andres Perez de Lara will be in row number 8. Row number 9 will be the rookie Lane Riggs and Connor Mosack for the 45 truck there at Nice Motorsports. Matt Crafton and Vicente Salas will end up making up row 10. Salas in his Truck Series debut today. Mason Massey and Ty Dillon will be in row 11. Row 12, Colby Howard and Lawless Allen. Bailey Curry, Matt Mills in row number 13. Row 14 will be Luke Ferraz and Timmy Hill. Spencer Boyd and Keith McGee in row 15. Thad Moffitt, Brett Holmes in row 16, and that will round out our 32 truck field here today. No rain in the forecast for the Cup Series race tomorrow, so we will go on without any hinges there. That live stream is still set to begin at 3 p.m. Eastern Time with our pre-race coverage. Again, that is tomorrow afternoon. The triple header today, again, will still go on, but a much shorter Xfinity Series race stream with the results of this race having a much later start than originally expected. You can vote for who you think is going to win this race in the chat. 42 votes have been casted so far. 30% of you are taking my pick, Ty Majeski, to go for the win as well. 28% saying Christian Eckes, saying somebody other than those three go to victory lane. So we'll see who will be correct. Right now, we are in agreement for the most part. Very even poll, I will say. One of the more even ones we've had this season. Yeah, this is 2 weeks in a row. This has hurt my viewership 2 weeks in a row. Having 2 overlapping streams. This stinks. But needless to say, I will say hopefully we at least get a good race in here in the course of a potential rain delay. But as we stand right now, we're looking at this Truck Series race in full. 35 laps in Stage 1 and Stage 2 for this truck race at Gateway. 90 laps in the final stage. And the fuel window 60 to 70 laps. So in the event of the final stage going caution-free, they will have to make a pit stop for fuel purposes. Haven't seen a lot of tire fall off at Gateway. And the Cup Series side should see more in the trucks, but even still, we didn't see that much in last season's race here. So we'll see what this season's race brings. Majeski on the outside 200 at Worldwide Technology Raceway. 160 laps here for this one, 200 miles, and off into the first turn go the leaders. Off the exit of turn 2, Majeski is clear for the lead. Near contact for the 5th place position battle between Dean Thompson and Stuart Friesen on the initial start. That was actually Taylor Gray that nearly got into the 52 of Friesen. Dean Thompson was clear just in front of him in 4th. Single file for the top 5 positions off of turn 4 on lap 1, and the opening lap of the race is led by the pole sitter Majeski. All over his back bumper is a 2nd place starter, Christian Eckes, trying to get to the lead in the early going. Again, 35 laps in the first stage, and they will not have to pit for fuel or tire purposes if we don't get a caution in this stage. If we do get a yellow, that could split the strategy up a little bit, but no yellows guaranteed until at least lap 35. No competition cautions with the rain delay we had as practice and qualifying for the Truck Series actually took place yesterday afternoon. Now single file through most of the top 10 positions. Majeski's led the first 2 laps of the race. Majeski's teammate Ben Rhodes trying to look to the inside of Taylor Gray, rather, in the 17 truck. Side by side for position through turns 1 and 2. And still door to door now on the backstretch. Rhodes goes up to try to side draft the left rear corner panel of Gray. Tightly door to door and nose to nose down into the braking zone of turn 3. On the curbing is Rhodes. Wide of that is Gray on a green racetrack with all the rubber from the Cup Series action today with practice and qualifying getting washed off. There's not going to be a lot of grip in that outside lane here in this first stage. Seems to be a detriment to Taylor Gray, who's up there right now. Ben Rhodes cleared him pretty easily through 3 and 4. And in turns 1 and 2, Corey Heim is going to be clear on the back stretch of Taylor Gray. Grant Enfinger, Daniel Dye all over the back of the 17 truck as well. Gray's in danger of falling out of the top 10 already. 4 laps in the books, all led by the pole sitter Ty Majeski. He's out to a 0.3 of a second lead already over Christian Eckes in second. Nick Sanchez 1.1 seconds back in third. Stuart Friesen is 1.7 seconds back at fourth, and Dean Thompson rounds out the top 5 in fifth. He's 2.6 seconds off the lead. Grant Enfinger now to the inside of Taylor Gray after Corey Heim, like I mentioned. The last lap was able to complete the pass for 7th. 13 truck of Jake Garcia also in the picture to try to get into the top 10. Right behind the 43 truck of Dye. Had a caution in the first lap of this race a season ago, caution free through the first 6 laps of the race here in 2024. And after this race concludes, we'll only have 4 races remaining in the regular season standings for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Let's take a look at those standings on screen right now. I had it open earlier and then I closed it during the rain delay, so I got to open the page back up again. Apologize here for that one quickly. Your point standings coming into the day in the Truck Series after Charlotte a week ago has Christian Eckes at the top of the standings. He has a 30-point lead over Corey Heim, who, remember, actually got DQ'd. Heim, who would have finished second with winning the first 2 stages of that race, gets docked the 20 stage points and the race finishing points due to 3 loose lug nuts at the end of the race. 1 was not on the race truck and 2 were not fastened tightly. We knew that at least 1 was missing going into that final green flag run at the end of the race. Luckily for Corey Heim, his tire stayed on the car, so no safety issues there, at least in bringing out a late caution. But again, due to that safety disqualification there on the 11 truck of Heim, he only gets 1 point for his finish. So he went from coming out of that race with a nearly 30-point lead. Instead of being 29 points ahead of Eckes, he now instead is 30 points behind him. So he got a big loss in the standings there, nearly a nearly full race swing of points. He would have been about a half race worth of points ahead of Eckes. Instead, he's a half race of points behind him. 50 points out of first is Nick Sanchez after getting that win at Charlotte. He's 3rd overall in the standings. 3 wins for Heim, 2 for Eckes and Sanchez, 1 win for Raja Carruth. Those are the only truck regulars to get a win this season. We've had a lot of Cup regulars to win truck races, so 6 spots still open for the playoffs. We know at least 1 driver is going to have to get their way in on points. We will not have more than 10 different winners. Ty Majeski, the highest in the point standings of those without a win coming into this race, starting on the pole. He's 64 points out of first, 4th overall in the standings. Taylor Gray, the Great Quiet Season, is 5th in the standings. Running 7th is Tyler Ankrum, 8th is Tanner Gray, and then you get closer down to that bubble right now. Grant Enfinger is 9th in the playoff standings, and he is currently 33 points ahead of Stuart Friesen for the final spot. Ben Rhodes is in the final spot above the cutoff line, and he is 32 points ahead of Friesen. Friesen, who missed the playoffs a season ago, needing to have a good day today, as we have trouble on the racetrack for the first time. Fenhaus has gone around. Luke Fenhaus in the 66 truck for Thor Sport Racing this weekend, making his Truck Series debut, has gone for a spin on lap 10. That has brought out our first caution of the race. The only other drivers I was going to talk about on the cutoff line here quickly is that Matt Crafton is minus 197 points, or out of the lead, I should say, but he is actually 33 points below the cutoff line on his teammate Ben Rhodes. Craftsman, of course, a three-time series champion, and Daniel Dye, who lost a spot in the point standings as well as Craftsman last week, is another point behind him. So very tight between 11th through 13th, but a lot of ground lost for everybody else. We'll go through the full field running order now for the first time today. Lap 22 here in this one, 13 to go in stage one. Ty Majeski's open up a 9/10 of a second lead over Christian Eckes in second. Stuart Friesen is in third. Nick Sanchez 14. Thompson still rounds out the top five. Corey Heim is in sixth. Ben Rhodes seventh. Eighth is, now Grant Enfinger is seventh. Ben Rhodes eighth. Daniel Dye ninth, and Taylor Gray has fallen to 10th. 11th place is Tyler Rankum. Raja Carew 12th. Chase Purdy 13th. Jake Garcia 14th. Ty Dillon up to 15th. Matt Crafton 16th, Lane Riggs 17th, Andres Perez de Lara in 18th, Bailey Curry 19th, and Tanner Gray is 20th. Wallace Allen 21st, Mason Massey 22nd, Colby Howard 23rd, Matt Mills 24th, Bazante Salas in 25th, Brett Holmes in 26th, Connor Mosack 27th, Timmy Hill 28th, 29th is Thad Moffitt, Keith McGee 30th, Spencer Boyd last truck on the lead lap in 31st, number 9 is the only driver one lap down as we run, and he should get the free pass during the stage one break at lap 35 or a caution for incident if that comes out beforehand. I appreciate everybody tuning in here on this one. Our like goal counter will be at 100 today. We are at 32 likes already, so be sure to hit the like button if you haven't yet. And again, subscribe for more NASCAR content. Be sure to subscribe again if you haven't yet. Vote for who you think is going to win this race in the chat poll as well. And we'll continue this live commentary coverage and keep you updated on the NASCAR Xfinity race at Portland live over the next couple hours. Yep, Xfinity cars on track. They're 2 minutes away from the drop of the green flag there, and we're just minutes away from the end of stage one. So again, this race should finish before the Xfinity Series race starts later. Or should finish later, excuse me. This race should be done before the Xfinity race. That race shorter laps, 75 versus 160 here. But again, this is on a 1 1/3 mile oval versus a 2-mile road course roughly over there in Portland. It's all going to be dependent on how many cautions this race gets, which so far, again, one for incident on lap 9 with Luke Fenhouse. And he is still the only driver not on the lead lap. We'll see if anybody else goes a lap down before the end of the stage. So Ty Majeski's your stage one winner. And for Majeski, that is going to be his 4th stage win of the season. That ties him for the most in the series, at least of any Truck Series regular. Ties him with Corey Heim at 4. Heim would have had 6 if his 2 last week at Charlotte would have stayed put. But again, he did get DQ'd at the end of that race. So he ended up finishing last and losing all 2 of his playoff points as well. Yep, green flag is in the air at Portland. Oh, Sam Mayer went around already. Wow, pole sitter spun. From the sounds of it, at least according to the chat, he has spun in the early laps. Just 5 minutes into that race. We're stage one complete here in this Truck Series race, the Toyota 200 at Gateway. Again, the top 10 receiving stage points here in this first stage, 1 point per position, and a playoff point to the stage winner, Majeski, again, his 4th stage win of the year. Christian Eckes was 2nd in the stage, Nick Sanchez 3rd, Stuart Friesen 4th, and Corey Heim 5th. Dean Thompson 6th, Grant Enfinger 7th, Ben Rhodes 8th, Daniel Dye 9th, Taylor Gray 10th. We'll do our diecast showing for both races in this race because I don't think we'll get to a stage break at all in the Xfinity race today. So our first of 2 diecast showings earlier today in the Cup Series live commentary stream for practice and qualifying. I had a Jeff Burton number 31 singular wireless diecast, so I figured I'd get the other Jeff Burton diecast out of my way then on my diecast showing today that I have, and this one is the number 99 Ford Taurus for Roush Fenway Racing. This diecast is from 2000, in fact, and it is his Citgo paint scheme. I really like this one, red, white, and blue. Not many Citgo gas stations still around. There was one in a town relatively close to the town I grew up in I don't know if they rebranded that. I think they might have rebranded it into a oh shoot, what did they rebrand that to? I think it was into a Marathon gas station, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't think it's a Citgo anymore. But that was the closest one I could think of growing up. There again aren't too many around here, but I really like the colors of the logo. It does scream very 90s to me when I see like the Citgo logo. I just think of like some old, F1 or Indy cars. I don't think F1 ever had Citgo as a paint scheme, but it gives me that like open wheel car vibe for some reason. But as well as like the 90s NASCAR cup cars as well, seeing this logo. I think the Wood Brothers might have had this for a sponsor at one point in time as well. But yeah, Sitco Jeff Burke, number 99. Ford Taurus Mustang from 2000, or Ford Taurus Roush Fenway Ford, number 99 from the year 2000 is our diecast showing. For the truck race, our Xfinity one will be during stage 2. We got pit stops. All right, under caution for the first time for incident in stage 2, our third caution entirely in the race. Second incident overall, and again, we had the stage yellow at lap 35. This was just a few green flag laps into the beginning of stage 2. Again, right front tire failure on the one truck at Tricon Garage of Colby Howard. He is now behind the pit wall, and service being done to that truck after a hard hit with the right front tire failure headed into turn 3 at lap number 45. So 10 laps led for the current race leader, Tanner Gray, on pit strategy. Christian Eckes has led a couple laps today off a restart, 2 of them to be exact, and Ty Majeski from the pole has led 2 different times, 35 laps led entirely for Majeski. Made his way up to 5th after restarting 9th there. And it was even after losing a couple spots initially on the restart. He might have actually fallen out of the top 10 there. But definitely looks like the fastest truck in the field in the early going. You can vote for him or anybody else to win in the chat poll. Again, that poll will close at the end of stage 2 in this race. We'll take another ad break while we're waiting for them to come back from commercial. Again, under caution in stage 2, early in stage 2 of the Toyota 200 at Gateway. Robert Perkle, thanks for tuning in as well. Yeah, all 3 stages in that Portland Xfinity race are all 25 laps, making up the 75 lap distance there. Reason being is because there are not going to be any live pit stops today. So that's why all the stages are even, pretty much about an entire fuel run there. No live pit stops because all of the Cup teams are obviously in St. Louis for this Truck and Cup weekend at Gateway. So there are live pit stops in this race, but again, that Xfinity race, there won't be live pit stops. So very tough to lose your track position with not having to lose it on pit road. You don't have to worry about pit road speeding penalties or anything of that nature as well. So definitely beneficial where if you're out in front early, you qualify out in front, like a Sam Mayer and Shane Van Gisbergen, it's very crucial to keep that lead. And obviously, Sam Mayer has already lost that lead, as you mentioned in the chat. Lap 1, turn 1 goes for a spin. Still under caution, a lengthy cleanup. Still trying to get pit road cleaned up. Some fluids laid down from Colby Howard there. Howard has retired from the race. He'll be the first driver out. The other 31 still on the lead lap. And Tanner Gray, again, leading laps under caution once again after he stayed out of the pits during the stage 1 break because he had pitted during the first caution of the race back at lap 9 for fuel and tires. Again, not a lot of tire fall off at this racetrack, but he does have about 20 lap old tires compared to the leaders by way of green flag laps. So with that being said, can he hold on? Mosak also on older tires is in third. And the only other truck that would have stayed out was Colby Howard, who had a right front tire failure on the restart, and that was because of contact he made on the initial restart, I believe, with Mosak. And then, obviously, the fender rub. Fender was caved in, caused a tire rub, and that's what caused the tire to initially go flat. So outside of the first and third place trucks, everybody else has fresher tires from the stage end caution. 19 laps to go, still in stage 2 at this point. And again, we are under caution in this Toyota 200. Top 10 for the race start has Tanner Gray in the lead, Nick Sanchez second, Connor Mosak third, Ben Rhodes fourth, Ty Majeski fifth. Sixth will be Grant Enfinger, Christian Eckes seventh, Stuart Friesen eighth, Chase Purdy ninth, and Corey Heim 10th. That is your top 10 for this ensuing restart. SVG in the lead at Portland. I feel good about my picks right now, especially with you guys telling me Mayer spun. That was my coin flip in the Xfinity race, was Mayer or SVG. Went with SVG, and I went with Majeski, the pole sitter here in this one, and definitely looks to be the fast truck. Just back in traffic right now with the slower pit stop, and obviously, again, the driver's on older tires out in front of him still. But we'll see what he can do in the restart from fifth. We're at 46 likes on the stream. Our goal is to get to 100, so again, be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. We didn't quite get to our goal during the live commentary stream this morning for Cup practice and qualifying. Of course, that was the earliest start time to a stream that we have had this season, so probably not as many viewers, I'm sure, there as a result of that 9:30 a.m. Eastern start time. Again, we'll see what this Truck Series race will bring, and appreciate you tuning in even with another race on with a slightly bigger series, I'd imagine, at that, with the Xfinity series. So appreciate you guys still tuning in here for this truck stream. All right, here we go. Green flag back in the air. 16 laps to go in stage 2 for Tanner Gray, Nick Sanchez on the front row. Mostly side by side into the first turn. Nobody 3 wide in the top half of the field, at least. See by the exit of the corner if we have some of it. Oh, contact with the leaders there. Nick Sanchez got up into the side of the 15 of Tanner Gray. Slowed each other up quite a bit as a result of that. Up the middle, 3 wide goes Ben Rhodes for the lead. Banging his way through there. Both of those lead trucks going to clear the driver on the older tires of Tanner Gray. Majeski moves up to third, make that 4th place right behind the top 3. And Ben Rhodes from 3rd place on the restart, 4th place rather on the restart, is going to come out with the lead. First lap led of the day for Ben Rhodes. Right around the cutoff line, he needs a solid points day today, especially with his teammate who is below the cutoff line, Matt Crafton, not having a good so good of a day. Excuse me, couldn't talk there. Big block on the back straightaway by Nick Sanchez. Might have even been a little contact between him and the front bumper of the 98, who he was blocking behind him. Now Majeski trying to make the pass on Tanner Gray. Gets a bump draft on the front stretch from Christian Eckes behind him. Majeski still trying to get his momentum back up from the straightaway before by being cut off by Sanchez. Majeski is clear for the 3rd place position off turn 2. And now Eckes will try to go after Gray for that pass. Dean Thompson, who started top 5 today, as well as Stuart Friesen, trying to get back up there. Currently, both trucks are outside the top 10. Faded behind on the first couple restarts of the stage. And are struggling to get through traffic. Still struggling. 3 wide down towards the first turn. Lane Riggs was the middle truck between Brett Holmes and like the 7 of De Lara, excuse me. Andres Perez De Lara making his first career truck start today for Spire Motorsports. A lot of drivers running a part-time role in that 7 truck this season. And Perez now the next one on the schedule to be doing that. Nick Sanchez is running down race leader Ben Rhodes. He's faster every lap than him by about 1/10 a second or so. And in fact, that last lap, Sanchez is even quicker than Ty Majeski Although on these restarts to begin this stage, this is the first time Majeski has been back in traffic today after starting on the pole in this one. Fell behind the 19 truck of Christian Eckes on one restart pretty early in this race, but got around him after a couple of laps. Rather, that's the 45 truck, Connor Mosak. Saw the 5 on there. And the wrong one. But Heim makes the pass for 6th on the racetrack then on Mosak. Mosak still on those older tires. And about to lose 2 more positions on the backstretch into turn 3. 3 wide underneath the 45. Chase Purdy, Grant Enfinger wasting no Grant Enfinger to clear both trucks off turn 4. And Dean Thompson in the 5 going to follow by to get by both of them into turns 1 and 2 as well. That's the second time I've gotten Thompson mixed up with Taylor Gray. They have similar blue and white trucks, both racing for Tricon Garage as well. So it's actually Taylor Gray who moved up into the top 10 there, getting by Purdy. Raja Karut, Ty Dillon, both in the top 10 for the first time, or at least battling for that 10th place position. Karut's got to win that pass. Dillon started a little. Sanchez has been right behind Ben Rhodes for a few laps now. He's been within about 2 to 3 truck lengths behind him, but it just has not been able to complete that pass. Longer it takes for him, sooner Ty Majeski's going to get out there and make it a 3-truck battle for the race lead here late in stage 2. And playoff point on the line at the end of lap 70, just 8 laps to go to get there. So again, 8 laps to go in stage 2. Your top 10 right now has Ben Rhodes in the lead by 0.2 of a second over Nick Sanchez. Ty Majeski half a second back in third. And even Christian Eckes within a second of the lead in fourth is 0.9 of a second off of Ben Rhodes. 2.5 seconds back is Tanner Gray in fifth. Corey Heim actually now just making the pass for fifth. So Corey Heim's in fifth, 2.6 seconds off the lead. Tanner Gray is 3.3 seconds back in sixth. Grant Enfinger in seventh, 4.3 seconds back. 5 seconds off the lead is Taylor Gray in eighth. Chase Purdy ninth, 5.5 seconds off the lead. And 5.7 seconds back is Raja Karuth in 10th. That is the top 10 in the intervals between those positions. Again, 7 to go in stage 2. Ben Rhodes got to the lead on this restart, making the 3-wide move up the middle. Slight contact made with Sanchez on his way through there. Meanwhile, Nick Sanchez has lost 2 positions this lap as Ty Majeski and Christian Eckes get around him for second and third. Now Majeski has his eye set on his teammate Ben Rhodes for the stage win. Majeski trying to sweep the stages here today at Gateway. He already won stage 1. And trying to win stage 2. If Majeski wins this stage, he'll have the most stage wins of any Truck Series regular. Kyle Busch also has 5 stage wins in the Truck Series this season. Would technically tie Majeski for the most in the series, though Busch is not running for points in the Truck Series. Obviously, he's running for Cup driver points. That 7 truck that he raced in on several occasions this season did get the owner's playoff points towards the owner's standings with the wins and stage wins. The wins and stage wins Kyle Busch had this season. Almost like Kyle Larson. The wrong Kyle. Well, Majeski has gotten alongside his teammate Ben Rhodes on the backstretch into turns 3 and 4. 4 to go in the stage this time by. Rhodes not going to waste much time to just dive in the line right behind Majeski. Try to hold up Christian Eckes a little more and see if he has any shot of trying to stay there for second. Rhodes doesn't seem to have quite as good of a truck as the ones around him. Remember, he is stuck in 4th gear this whole time. He's not able to shift from 3rd to 4th. Still was able to get through that last restart to get to the lead as quickly as he was. Christian Eckes dives underneath him, same spot, getting into turn 3 is where he'll clear Rhodes. Rhodes dives in line again behind him, just like he did with Majeski the lap before. So Christian Eckes moves into second. Eckes, again, a runner-up at this track 2 seasons in a row. Could make it 3 in a row here today, as he's been running second for most of this race to Majeski, who has led the most laps up to this point. Ty Majeski's now led 37 laps and counting in this race out of 67 that have been completed. 3 to go in stage 2. 2 to go now in stage 2 this time by as Majeski works his way off turn 4. He's got about a half a second lead back to Eckes behind him. It's roughly 4, 5, 6 truck length lead or so into that first turn on this egg-shaped racetrack. You can still see the darker skies off in the distance on the backstretch that are still storms that are east of the racetrack. Kind of saw that during the truck, or rather the cup practice, the qualified session this morning. Had some light sprinkles from time to time, but never lost the racetrack. Had a brief caution during practice for rain, but again, never lost the track. They were still able to complete their practice session. Made some strong charges here these last couple laps to get slightly closer to Majeski. Still a couple truck lengths behind him on the final lap of the stage into 3 and 4. And Nick Sanchez trying to get back by Ben Rhodes. And he's able to make the pass complete through 3 and 4 on the final lap of the stage. So Sanchez is going to steal another stage point away from Rhodes. Rhodes falls to 4. Sanchez up to 3rd. Ty Majeski sweeps the stages here today at Gateway. And Christian Eck is 2nd in both stages today as well. Again, 5th stage win of the year for Majeski, most of the Truck Series regulars this season. But still in search for his first race win of the year after leading the most laps in this race a season ago. He's led the most laps in this season's race, although he did not win a stage last year. Under a commercial break right now. Again, end of stage 2 in this one. This one with our commentary of the Xfinity Series race being pushed back a little bit. Of course, I will still do live commentary for the end of the Xfinity Series race, but gonna be after the conclusion of this truck race here first. So this is an Elliott Sadler number 38 car diecast from his Robert Yates racing days. This diecast specifically is from the 2003 season. Still somewhat pole award logo, so he did have a pole that season as well. But this is a pedigree paint scheme. Maybe not as classic as his M&M scheme back in the Robert Yates racing days, but I still like the pedigree paint scheme. He's got the nice golden retriever on the side of it, the cute little doggy right there. He's also on the back bumper of the car too. You see a great detail here. For that reason, growing up as a kid, I always liked the pedigree paint schemes. Big dog guy, I am. So, yeah, so here we go. This the diecast showing a guest, which would have been during the Xfinity race, and more fitting with it being Elliott Sadler. Much more career Xfinity wins than what he had in the Truck Series, but again, kind of doing both diecasts in this stream because we're not going to have much time during that Xfinity race later today. More than likely, it's going to be the final stage of that race when we do get to that live commentary stream. But the first 2 stages in the books here for this Truck Series race at Gateway. And from the sounds of it, it sounds like stage 1 is just concluding in the Xfinity race. So we're stage on schedule to getting to stage 3 action for that race. Again, following the finish of this one. That will be on a separate stream. It will not be on this stream. That stream is already up. It's just not obviously started with me here live in this one. So again, your stage 2 results. Ty Majeski wins stage number 2. Christian Eck is 2nd. Nick Sanchez 3rd. Ben Rhodes 4th. Corey Heim 5th. 6th was Grant Enfinger. Tanner Gray 7th. Taylor Gray 8th. Chase Purdy 9th. Ty Dillon 10th. So again, that is your top 10 and the results of stage 2. Final stage is 90 laps. And this will not be the final pit stop of the day with the leaders and the rest of the field on pit road for the second time. 74 laps to go in the Toyota 200 at Gateway Motorsports Park. Corey Heim is your race leader. First time he's led today in the final stage, but he's only 0.6 of a second ahead of Ty Majeski in P2. Nick Sanchez is 3rd, Tyler Ingram 4th, and Daniel Dye rounds out the top 5. Ben Rhodes is 6th, Christian Eck is in 7th, Tanner Gray 8th, Grant Enfinger 9th, and Raja Caruth in 10th. Stuart Friesen in 11th, Chase Purdy 12th, Dean Thompson 13th, Ty Dillon 14th, and Lane Riggs is 15th. 16th for Matt Crafton, Andres Perez de Lara in 17th. Lawless Allen 18th, Brett Holmes 19th, and Luke Fenhouse is 20th. Matt Mills 21st, Jake Garcia 22nd, Connor Mosack 23rd, Timmy Hill 24th, and Mason Massey is 25th. Bizante Salas in 26th, Spencer Boyd 27th, Keith McGee 28th, 29th for Bailey Curry, and Taylor Gray is the last truck on the lead lap in 30. 31st is Thad Moffitt, 1 lap down. Only truck out of the race today is Colby Howard in 32nd. He retired from the race 40 laps ago after a right front tire failure in turns 3 and 4. 4 cautions today are 2 stage breaks and 1 caution for incident in stage 1 and stage 2. Those cautions at lap 9, lap 45, and the stage yellows at lap 35 and lap 70. Most laps led in this one is the second place driver, Ty Majeski. He's led 3 different times for 42 laps from the pole, might I add. Our current race leaders led 10 laps of Corey Heim today, and Ty Majeski won the first 2 stages of the race. Also laps led for Tanner Gray. He has led 17. 2 for Christian Eckes on a restart. Ben Rhodes on a restart had led 11. 4 laps led under caution during the stage break for Tyler Ankrum, and 1 lap led for Keith McGee during caution. He pitted a lap after the rest of the leaders. So those are all the drivers to lead a lap in the race. 7 of them total, 9 lead changes so far today. Our average race speed at this point is 89.9 miles per hour, and we've been green from the start of the race to now for about an hour, 13 minutes, and counting. Be sure to hit the like button again on the stream. We'll take another ad break. If you're wondering why I'm taking so many of them during this race, because I was supposed to have one more stream with the Xfinity Series race stream, excuse me. We will still get to that at some point in time later. So bear with me on that one. Appreciate you guys still staying tuned in for this race, even with another race going on. But that is why I'm taking as many as I am here today. And because last Sunday I missed out on a cup race, I was only able to stream about an hour of that race with the Indy 500 overlap as well. So we'll stay live right here until the finish of this one. Again, you're listening live to the Toyota 200 on KRC. Taylor Gray down onto pit road. Mentioned he was in 30th. He is now off the lead lap, an unscheduled stop. Taylor Gray came into this race 5th in the overall driver standings for the Truck Series, but a brake failure has now led him to pit road. We've seen quite a few brake failures in the Cup Series with the next-gen car at Gateway in the first couple years here. I talked about that a little bit this morning during the practice qualifying stream, and now our first brake failure of the weekend with this truck race at Gateway coming your way early in the final stage with the 17 truck of Taylor Gray, who had been running back half of the top 10 for most of this race. So tough break for him. We'll monitor if we get any other brake failures, obviously, the rest of the way, as we still have about 68 laps to go. And that Cup race tomorrow, much longer than this one here today, so maybe more likely to see it on that behalf, considering that race will be 100 miles longer in length than this one. 240 lap race for the Cup Series tomorrow. Again, Corey Heim still out in front. He's actually slightly pulling away from Ty Majeski. Majeski got the second on the restart, but can't keep up with Heim. First time Heim has led today. Kind of trading lap times back and forth between who's faster and who isn't. 2 laps ago, Heim was about a 10th quicker than Majeski. That last lap, Majeski about 2 to 300ths of a second quicker than Heim. Majeski trying to go for his 3rd win of the season. They're getting DQ'd last weekend at Charlotte. And trying to get back into the regular season championship standing race with Christian Eckes. Eckes outscored Heim in stage 1 and stage 2, with Eckes finishing 2nd in both stages. Heim behind him in both stages. And coming into this race today, Corey Heim is already 30 points behind Eckes, and a lot of that was due to the DQ last weekend. Corey Heim, if he wasn't disqualified, would have left that race with a 29-point lead. Instead, came out of it 30 points behind in 2nd. So that was a huge difference maker. And Corey Heim potentially getting 15 playoff points here in a few more races and not. .66 laps to go. Time's still on his side, though. He's got a lot of it left. In that last lap, Majeski was now 2/10 quicker than Corey Heim. And still haven't seen that much fall off today. Although during this run, it seems like about 7 to 8 tenths of a second of fall off on these tires. Fastest lap by Majeski was all the way back on lap 2 in the early going of this race. Last lap at lap 95 was a 33.954, so about 7 tenths exactly slower than his fastest lap. There were 2 drivers again that took right sides only which got track position to begin this stage. That was Daniel Dye and Tyler Ankrum. They're running 6th and 7th, with Dye in 6th and Ankrum 7th. So that's where they have fallen. They're actually battling for that position right now on the front stretch. Side by side into turn 1, Dye holds clear. Ankrum going to try the crossover to get back underneath the 43 truck, but can't quite get there on the back straightaway. Again, everybody will still have to pit one more time in this race. Fuel window is pretty much open from now to the end, but obviously you don't want to pit under green here. That excess road and a slower pit road speed on a 1.3 mile oval, you're going to go about a lap and a half down under green flag pit stop sequence. So don't want to risk ruining your race with a caution in the middle of that. And with not a lot of tire fall off, I would imagine these teams are going to try to make this run last as long as they can if we continue to stay green throughout stage 3. They would have to pit at some point between 20 to 30 to go in the race, but that would be about as far as they can go for fuel purposes before having to pit for that reason. Tires won't necessarily mean that a lot of these teams are going to be pitting at the halfway mark of the stage like we would usually see teams split in half on an intermediate track. This is an unordinary, I guess, intermediate track. Definitely not a cookie cutter by any means. Get egg-shaped like Darlington, but very flat like a New Hampshire. And unlike Darlington, where turns 1 and 2 are wider sweeping, 3 and 4 are tight. 1 and 2 is tight here. 3 and 4 is wide sweeping. Again, Darlington has more banking than this. Although that track surface is older, the gray tires more. This one, not so much. Just definitely using a lot more brake, in which we, again, have seen one brake failure already today. Taylor Gray still down on pit road with that brake change. He's now 9 laps down in 31st. After running back half of the top 10 and getting stage points in stage 1 and stage 2 today. Not going to be the finish he would have hoped for. And again, still no win for Gray this season, or in his Truck Series career for that matter, but still looking for his first win of the season. So he is not locked into the playoffs. The only good news going for him is there have been issues for other drivers around the cutoff line today. Matt Craftsman, who was having an electrical issue, has gotten bailed out with the cautions in the middle of the first couple stages, making an ECU change to the race truck during some of those yellows. And he is now back up into the 15th place position. That's actually as high as Crafton has been in the running order today after qualifying 22nd. So good for Crafton, not losing a lap. Great job by his team, making the fix as quickly as they did. And he seems to be under power and trying to chip away after not getting any stage points in this one here today. Trying to play catch up. Again, he was 32 points below the cutoff line coming into this race. Sounds like we got a NASCAR Fox crank it up. You have to take that access road too, so see if we get any mistakes from it. NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series action for the Toyota 200 at Gateway Motorsports Park continues. Corey Heim has actually dominated the laps led category in the final stage. He's still only 0.6 of a second ahead of Ty Majeski in P2. Nick Sanchez is third, Ben Rhodes fourth, Christian Eckes is in fifth. Sixth place for Daniel Dye, Tyler Ankrum seventh, Raja Kruth eighth, Brandon Finger ninth, and Stuart Friesen rounds out the top 10. Tanner Gray in 11, Chase Purdy 12th, Dean Thompson in 13th, 14th for Ty Dillon, Lane Riggs 15th. 16th is Andres Perez de Lara. 17th for Brett Holmes. Luke Fenhouse in 18th. Wallace Allen 19th. And Matt Crafton has slipped to 20th. 21st is his teammate Jake Garcia. Matt Mills 22nd, Connor Mosack 23rd, Visante Salas in 24th, and Mason Massey is in 25th. Timmy Hill's the last truck in the lead, lap 26th. First truck a lap down in 27th is Keith McGee. Spencer Boyd a lap down in 28th. Thad Moffitt 4 laps down in 29th. Bailey Curry 5 laps down in 30th. Taylor Gray, after making the brake change on pit road, is still in this race, but 9 laps down in 31st. And the only truck out of the race today will be Colby Howard, finishing last in 32nd. A 96.39 mile per hour average race speed to this point, just under an hour and a half from the drop of the green flag at the start of the day to where we're at now with 43 laps to go. Most laps led in this race for Ty Majeski, who won the first 2 stages. He's led 4 different times for 44 laps. Our current race leader, 38 laps led for Corey Heim. 4 cautions total and green flag pit stop starting with Majeski on pit road.
The move that wins the race. Just getting rid of people around pit road, I would think. See, Nick Sanchez prepared to lead.
He stays on the racetrack, as you see on the left side.
I think someone might go long here. You know, it's much, you know, if you still can run another 25 laps or so, maybe more. It's a long time to maybe get a caution. And the fall off isn't real big. And we get the extension. I'd go for the win if I was in. We got some money on the line. You see, obviously, Majeski on pit road. When Nick Sanchez comes by, that means that he will be a lap down.
See adjustments for Ben Rhodes.
If one of the good trucks like Nick Sanchez runs long like this and the caution were to come out, that'll catch a bunch of these trucks a lap. Everybody that comes to pit road now will be caught a lap down. They would be able to take the wave around, but they would lose track position. Exactly.
Down to 6 laps to go in this race, coming up on 5 to go this time by. Corey Heim with a 2.5 lead over Christian Eckes in second. Nick Sanchez 1.6 seconds back in third. Ty Majeski has fallen to 4th place and now. So those are the intervals of the top 5 positions in the final 5 laps of the Toyota 200 at Gateway Motorsports Park, Worldwide Technology Raceway as well. And with the finish of this race looming, once again, I will be finishing up the NASCAR Xfinity Series live commentary stream on a separate stream from this one. So again, NASCAR Xfinity Series live commentary stream will be coming up on a separate stream. That stream's already set up and ready to go. So be sure to hit the notification bell so you don't miss the start of that. But we will get the finish of that race on the live commentary side of things as well. As for this one, Corey Heim has dominated the final stage of this race. Pit crew won him the race off pit road to begin stage 2 of those on fresh tires at the time. He made quick work of Daniel Dye and Tyler Rankin on the older left sides when they took the 2-tire strategy. And Corey Heim is going to go on to lead the most laps in this race today. 61 laps led. It'll be 2 races in a row he's led the most, as he did lead the most, of course, last week in Charlotte, but got DQ'd after what looked like it was going to be a 2nd place finish and winning the first 2 stages. It would have been a 59-point performance, but here today, looking for an even better point performance here than 1, which is what he ended up getting with the DQ finish last week. Eckes 1.2 seconds back. Really, the fight for second is on between Eckes and Sanchez as they work through lap traffic. Lap traffic not really heavy enough that's going to be costing Corey Heim a ton of time here. Big thing is will we stay green or not to the finish? Big slip up off the exit of turn 4 for Nick Sanchez that last lap. He almost got up into the side of the lap truck of Lawless Allen off the exit of the corner. Great job not making contact and having to lift there. Smart move by Sanchez. Sanchez winning the first leg of the Triple Truck Challenge last weekend. If he wins another race in the next 2, this one and then the next race at Iowa, then he would end up getting $250,000 bonus on top of the win. But as far as this week goes, it looks like it's going to be Corey Heim taking the extra $50,000 for winning the 2nd leg of this Triple Truck Challenge. His first, of course. Over a 2.5 lead back to Christian Eckes. Still about a 3 truck length gap between Eckes and Sanchez, who battle for second on the final lap. Checkered flag waving off the exit of turn 4. It's Heim time once again. 4th time this season. Corey Heim will go to victory lane in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, and he does it again here at Worldwide Technology Raceway. A 1.8 second margin of victory for Heim. 97.76 mile per hour average race speed today. 2 hours, 1 minute, and 27 seconds total time under our 160 lap, 200 mile regulation distance. No overtime in this one. Only one caution for incident in each stage today, including the final stage. That last yellow was at lap 128 as we went green for about the final just less than 30 laps of this race. I believe it was a 25 lap green flag run to the checker here. The 3 yellows for incident at lap 128, 45, and lap 9, again, 1 in each stage. And the 2 stage yellows at lap 35 and lap 70 brought out the total 5 cautions in this race. Heim leads 65 laps 2 different times. He led in this one. Again, leads the most, gets the race win. And trying to chip into that regular season points battle on Eckes, who ends up finishing in second right behind him. I think Eckes might have actually outscored him in points still today, but 5 playoff points for Heim with winning this race. Ty Majeski led the second most laps today, 43 from the pole after winning stage 1 and stage 2. Majeski has the most stage wins of any driver this season, but still no race wins to show for it. Again, Heim, season high 4th win of the year for the Truck Series. 19 laps led for Tanner Gray. Ben Rhodes led for 11 laps. Chase Purdy led for 5 under the yellow. And during the green flag pit stops, Nick Sanchez led 10 laps at one point today on a restart. 2 laps led for Christian Eckes on a restart. Keith McGee under caution, 1 lap led, and 4 laps led under a yellow for Tyler Ankrum. In total, we had 9 different drivers lead at least 1 lap in the race today, and we ended up having 13 lead changes amongst those 9 different. Time once again, and here's your race winner on the front stretch, Gateway, Corey Heim.
Thanks, Tom.
Really nice effort for that man.
All right, we'll turn it over to the NASCAR Xfinity Series race stream now. I've got to switch over the leaderboard, so it's probably going to be about 5 minutes between me ending this and getting the next one up. But appreciate everybody tuning in. Like, subscribe if you haven't yet. And I will see you again, another stream to wrap up the NASCAR Xfinity Series race. Thanks for watching the Toyota 200 live commentary stream here for the Truck Series. See you in a couple minutes on that next stream.